Yo!
Hello!
Welcome to yet another episode of our podcast. Myself, Lee, WWLeeTV, and my good friend.
I am Ricky from the Black White Soul channel.
So we are back after it's been, what, a week and a half since our last podcast?
I think it's been
Maybe
like 3 weeks. We did
Really?
the last one, 2 Raws after the pay-per-view, or?
Yeah, something like that. I think
Yeah.
we were about 2 away from the go-home show for Survivor Series. So yeah, we're back, and we're really here to discuss today Survivor Series and Raw. So
let's start off. So, how were your feelings going into the Survivor Series?
I wasn't excited particularly. I got excited basically the day of. Just generally, I do generally get excited about pay-per-views. It's just the build itself wasn't very good enough to get me excited.
No, like, I enjoyed the tournament, but again, with people putting people in there like Titus O'Neil, and they did like a load of tournament matches just with nothing. There's no like sort of like, oh man, this is my, like Kalisto getting on the mic going, this is my chance to prove to people that I can be a champion. It was just like, here's the matches. Oh, this is going to be pretty much obvious how this comes down.
It was predictable in some places. Like I really enjoyed some of the matches, on the Raw during the tournament and the brackets and all that, but some of them were a bit predictable.
I'll be honest, the only thing that really surprised me was Kalisto advancing and getting a match against Del Rio.
Yeah. It would have been amazing if he had got further in that, but...
And then, of course, with the Seth Rollins injury in this whole tournament, that had its own little, like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So it was more, rather than what the show had done itself, it was just a bit more excitement around that. Undertaker, Bray, were you excited for that?
I am excited. I was excited about the fact that Taker and Kane were together again, and it's like nostalgia and all that. And I enjoy like the mythical power thing, that Bray did with all that sort of stuff. I've always enjoyed that. That's what I said in the last podcast. But it was good. The build was okay. It never really made it clear who was going to be going up against Kane and Taker.
No, and we had the thing of like, oh, who's going to be the partners? I was like, oh, I'm quite excited for who's going to be partners, and it's like, no, we're going to have a tag, not a Survivor Series match. Like, oh. Yeah.
And considering they're feuding against the Wyatt family, I was hoping they would have done that in the end. A 4-on-2, maybe.
And even as we got to it, like, I was happy that, like, I think an Undertaker and Kane is sort of fair enough against the whole Wyatts. My other big issue was the fact that they gave away everything. Like, the night in England where we had Undertaker and Kane come out, they just destroyed all the Wyatts, including Bray Wyatt. Which is just like, well, that's the main thing you want to see on Survivor Series. But no, they've just given it to you free on TV.
Yep, and literally destroyed them and made them look weak. I think they should have ended that on a stare down. Or maybe have like Taker and Kane on the ramp and then the Wyatts in the ring and light display, whatever. Just don't touch each other until that match.
Yeah, I would have, fine, I think we've seen Eric and Luke get sort of beaten up enough. I think they should have taken the beat down. And then as Undertaker got his hands on Bray, things black out, he teleported to the entrance ramp. Or Braun Strowman just attacks him from behind and quickly pulls Bray out. And then the week after, we had them with... They did the cool thing where they turned the druids into sheep people.
Yeah.
And then, they all attacked them. And then I thought, the Wyatts, they're going to get, a big beatdown and Kane and Undertaker look strong. It's no, they're just going to just sit there.
Yeah. So that was really the build to what I was hoping would be a much better match. But other than that, the World Heavyweight title picture with the brackets, it was pretty much as we predicted going into Survivor Series. And then we get to Survivor Series itself.
And then there was nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Sorry, there was one thing. We'll get into that. Apart from this and the one thing we're going to talk about in a second, there was nothing else for Survivor Series. Nothing was really put together. On the day, I knew there was a traditional Survivor Series match. Couldn't have told you It was a surprise to us who we saw.
Yeah.
We had no idea. There was no advertising. I believe they announced it on SmackDown, and that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Much like a Dolph Ziggler push, so it's just... that was disappointing.
Well, we were watching it together, and we both sort of said to each other, we've only got like 3 or 4 matches that we know about, and there's 3 hours of pay-per-view to fill. So what? So it was a bit unpredictable, but we couldn't get invested in anything, and we didn't know what was coming. But yeah, somehow they made it work with lengthy matches. But as Ricky said, that the excitement wasn't because of anything big, like feud-wise. It was more the unpredictability of it all. But for that didn't really work for me.
The match that I almost forgot about that did happen was the Paige and Charlotte thing that had the really awkward promo going into it.
I don't know whether to bring that up or not.
Well, we kind of got... it's a big thing. Like, well, first of all, it was a huge thing, the Divas finishing Raw, which, personally, I feel was done because they are getting their lowest views at the end of Raw. So I feel it's more than we have faith in the Divas, it's more that they'll put the Divas in the lowest rated segment of the night anyway. Yeah. Either that, or like someone was really like, yeah, with the Divas, they'll do something, and Vince, I don't know, just forgot.
I don't want that to be right. You probably are. The only other thing I thought was because they're trying to put like the World Heavyweight title scene on the back burner in the back of our minds until the pay-per-view, so we didn't really know what was to come. But from what I've heard, like, Raw this week went below 3 million.
Yeah.
For the first time in years. All because of that third hour. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're right about the Diva thing.
Then they were trying to get some wrestling can get personal, and like sometimes it can be really effective when you pull on like the personal lives. You had like Jericho and CM Punk bringing up like his family and his like the alcoholism and stuff in his family and their bad connections. And you've had other ones. You've had like Rey Mysterio basically doing things on behalf of Eddie Guerrero, and a really personal feud coming out of it when Randy Orton was bad-mouthing Eddie. But this Paige versus Charlotte was a really cold feud, mainly because this whole Divas Revolution team thing has just failed. She's done the heel turn twice for it to like sort of happen, and just there's no real... They've fought a bit, and Paige has been a bit of a dick, but there's no real like animosity there. And then for that to suddenly go from like, we're just having a fight to, yeah, your brother's dead.
Real personal.
That's like, yeah, that's just a horrific jump and unwarranted. And then the worst thing that's come out of it is hearing that the Flair family wasn't told of this. Of course, so what I don't know is if it was scripted by people or if Charlotte and Paige got together and they're like, we've been given the main event, we really need to do something to shock, and they just made a bad decision.
There was other ways of going about that, and if you're going to do something like that, you, as Ricky said, you've got to run it by the people closest to this family, you know, Ric Flair for one, and any other family members, because from what I hear, yeah, they were pretty distraught. And with a guy like Ric Flair, who's a 2-time Hall of Famer, and you're upsetting him with something like that, not a good move.
But then the thing is just like how close he is to Triple H. How often he's there.
Yeah.
How much he follows his daughter's career. How often he's there for her matches. Like, how was this guy not told?
I know. And he's been on TV like fairly recently. So, but I think they went for broke. We're on the third hour. We need to make this feud mean something. Let's just do this. And it was a last minute stupid decision that I don't think they're ever going to bring up again.
Well, since we're talking about that, let's just get into Survivor Series, and let's just go straight into the Divas match, which I think was really hurt by, the cold feud. That thing itself, I think, really took out like the smart marks that knew about it, and just they had on paper it was a decent match. Like solid. If you look at it, it was fine. The ending sort of came out of nowhere a bit with the figure 8.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, just the crowd were just so dead for this.
That's the thing I was going to touch on, but I'll get to that. But the crowd didn't help, and it made the match. There was like this emptiness to it. I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Like, no one was behind Charlotte. Paige was trying to get like the crowd behind her, but just like nobody wanted Charlotte. They've messed up. Someone that came in so hot has that wrestling lineage, and they've just like completely cooled her down with just poor storyline going in.
Again, my concern is with like these solid, decent wrestlers coming up from NXT. Is the main roster where they really want to be? Charlotte, in that case, is done really well in NXT, and she just hasn't quite found her feet in the main roster because, of officials and writers. So it's not good.
No, but Charlotte retained the title.
Yeah,
and that was that.
And that, whether it's going to continue, do you reckon? Or?
Well, we'll talk about Raw after Survivor Series.
Yeah.
Undertaker match. I enjoyed it. It was fun, nostalgia, had a really good sort of entrance. It wasn't like over WrestleMania production values, but it was like, had the nice flickering images going through all the stages of The Undertaker, had the
flames.
His symbols burning. And then the match itself was just very simple, which I think The Undertaker, he's wrestled Brock Lesnar twice this year.
Yeah.
The guy needs a break.
And besides, if they want to use him going into like the build to Mania and a match in Mania, they've got to make sure he's okay, because it took him damn near a year to get better from that Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania 30. So, and we're literally a few months away from Mania now, so
it was fine. It did what it did. It paid tribute to The Undertaker.
Yeah.
He got a win. Everyone got a happy moment.
Exactly.
We'll save the title picture till last. The other matches. Tyler Breeze versus Dolph Ziggler. Didn't even know that was going to happen there.
No.
Again, this is a case. It was an okay match. It was fine. But crowd didn't care because we haven't had a reason to. This feud started. First of all, it started on the SmackDown before Hell in the Cell. That sort of came out of nowhere. We didn't really get introduced to Tyler Breeze on Raw. He's done a few appearances. And then him and Ziggler haven't even interacted in the last 2-3 weeks, as far as I can remember. Breeze, in his first ever match on Raw, lost to Dean Ambrose in a qualifying match. And then they've not really done anything since then.
Nothing since.
And then these two had a match.
And Tyler Breeze goes over on Ziggler.
Well, I'm fine with that. It's the new guy. You kind of... If someone comes in, you want the new guy to win.
That's strong, I know.
And I'm happy that he does use the Unprettier as a finisher, because I didn't really like the beauty shot. It was just a spinning heel kick. Stupid finisher. Unprettier suits him in name value, and it's a good move. But yeah, this could have been so much more. These are two phenomenal wrestlers. If you actually had a storyline for us to give a damn about, the crowd would have got into it. Ziggler's an easy guy for the crowd to cheer, and Tyler Breeze is with Summer Rae, and that's easy heel heat. This is should have been a simple match, but it had no story, so nobody cared.
No. Again, it was just a gap filler, which was a bit of a shame. We also had the mixed tag match, which we did laugh about at the beginning. The traditional Survivor Series tag team elimination match.
Who was in the match?
So obviously Sheamus, who by the way said, let's get jiggy with it. And I was like, there's no way he's cashing in tonight. No freaking way, but we'll get to that. We also had Ryback, we had the Usos, we had Sin Cara and
Lucha
Dragons.
Kalisto. And Barrett, you missed out.
Barrett as well.
No, you got them all. I was actually impressed that you actually remembered, because there was nothing really memorable about this. Why on earth did the New Day not just have a tag match in here? Why in the weeks leading up to this we couldn't have had an Usos and New Day feud and a title match? That would have something to fight for. Instead we had the New Day. They did their best. They're just the best thing about WWE at the moment. Had a nice funny beginning. Sheamus got involved in that beginning and just very awkwardly.
Yeah.
But quite fun. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was stupid, but it made me laugh. And even Barrett was getting into the New Day's offense, but then Big E got eliminated and the New Day left. And then it was like, oh dear.
Well, that's the thing. If the New Day... to be honest, the way I would have booked this, I just had New Day sitting at ringside for the match. And the match itself, as it was, tag team elimination, it would have been number one contender for their tag team titles. Because that way, it means something. It's not just Survivor Series match. Yeah. It builds towards nothing. I mean, what did it build toward, really?
Nothing.
Exactly.
It built towards nothing. You had the really awkward situation of the face team being having more members than the heel team. So you're kind of getting sympathy for Sheamus, even though he's some guy we want to see get beaten up. And then Sheamus gets pinned by Ryback. There's like nothing else to this.
Yeah. And that's it. It was... it's hard to get excited about something that isn't really even necessary.
No. There's, again, something with no build to it, no stakes after it. New Day did their best, but they like, oh, we're going to go. We're done, we're going home now. So they left.
They're tag team champions. You'd surely have them defending those belts on that pay-per-view. Or even, as I said, have a tournament for their belts. Number one contender. It's idiotic.
And since the other two titles were tied up in the main event picture, there was no title defended. There was the women's title. The Divas title.
The Divas.
Can't get that mistaken for the women's title. That was the only title actually defended on this pay-per-view. Now, pre-show, because I texted you when I got home and had a quick check of the pre-show, because there was another Survivor Series match, which the goddamn Dudleys were in the pre-show Survivor Series match. Neville was in there, and someone else. I can't even remember it all. I just watched highlights of that part. But the big thing was they brought back Goldust after months of injury. They brought him back, and they a huge crowd reaction from what I could see on the clips. And yeah, they sort of brought up this whole Stardust and Goldust feud thing, and that was quite a big moment.
Yeah, huge. And they put it on the pre-show.
And you had no idea.
No idea.
They didn't mention it on the show after the fact.
I know. And I got the text off Ricky saying, Stardust and Goldust. I was like, what the hell? Sort of thing you put on the main show. But nothing.
No.
How disappointing is that?
It's just ridiculous. It's just such a waste of talent.
And what did Goldust think? Oh, brilliant, I'm back and being put on the pre-show. And no one's even aware of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of it. Not a mention of it during the pay-per-view either. Unbelievable.
Right, let's get into our title picture. Alberto versus Reigns.
Fairly solid match. I think obviously Del Rio carried that one. He's pretty... I don't like Del Rio. I've never been a fan, but he's a solid worker. But obviously we knew... I mean, we were just talking our way through this match, watching it sort of intermittently, but we knew Reigns was going to win, and he did. So...
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was a good match because basically Del Rio's a good worker / nobody wants to really cheer him. No. So it's a good person to go against Reigns.
Yeah.
Because, well, as was sort of evident, we had those sort of little Kevin Owen bits just before his match, and the crowd were hot for Owens. So if it had been Owens versus Reigns, Reigns would have been booed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was one good decision, not putting them two against each other.
And then we got Dean Ambrose versus Owens.
Much better match than Reigns and Del Rio. Obviously, these two are indie backgrounds, solid workers. I enjoyed it. I found it hard trying to think who I wanted to win, though. Because I'm a fan of both of these guys. For months, I've wanted Ambrose to be involved in the title picture. And then you get Owens come along, who just delivers these classic lines in segments. I mean, he just trolls everyone. He doesn't care who it is. And that's why I'm a fan of him, because he's just a bit nuts. I mean, he got on a Twitter feud with Sabrina.
Yeah, the Teenage Witch.
Melissa Joan Hart. Yeah. So, I found it quite hard. But Ambrose won, which I was pleased about, but kind of highlights to me where obviously the night would progress. So.
And that was absolutely fine. Good match. Ambrose going over. I'm fine with that. Like, he's losing to kind of a big guy.
Yeah.
Then we get our main event, Reigns versus Dean, which is a really good match that seemed to finish halfway through.
Yeah.
Like, the ending just came out of nowhere. I believe it was just about 10 minutes. That's how long the match was. For your main event. I know they had to, like, fit in
that been,
the ending, but how about we cut 10 minutes out of that 5-man elimination match and have a better match? Actually build up to something. Have Reigns really... Like, this is the thing that he did with Daniel Bryan. When him and Daniel Bryan had their match before WrestleMania. Of course I wanted Daniel Bryan to win, as did every other person. But Reigns looked good coming out of it, because it was a hard-fought match, and they really just went at it.
Mm.
Reigns, it isn't... you can't just have a good match with one person.
No.
The other person does have to be involved. As much as people are like, Reigns is just rubbish. He's not. He's a decent worker. And when he's in the ring with someone who's really good, he can pull out really good matches.
Mm.
But this match just went 10 minutes, and then Reigns won.
I looked back, because like the crowd, as we were saying, they were dead. But crowd usually know during a match when a pinfall is going to be the one that ends the match. And this pinfall comes out of nowhere, and the crowd don't even count along. I'm not even too sure, because usually you know when the end's coming. You build towards it, the intensity builds, and the spear comes out of nowhere, and then here's the pinfall, and the crowd was sort of like, "What?" I could tell they were just. I mean, I was. It was like that ended too quickly.
Yeah, and that's sort of the unwritten rule that you're allowed to kick out one finisher.
Yeah,
yeah. So I was almost waiting for an Ambrose kick out, and it never came. And it was like, it's a bit like when I was watching The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. It was like, he's going to kick out of this, and then like 3,
bang.
Oh,
yeah.
no, didn't
That's
kick out.
it. And it was just the end, and it just sort of felt very rushed. And then obviously, it was because they were trying to make room for what happens next.
Triple H came out, shook the hand. Reigns was like, no, I don't want to do that. Spear, because, attacking Triple H has always worked out so well for guys over the past 4 years, 3 years.
This is bound to end well for you.
And then Sheamus comes out, delivers a bro kick, and Reigns kicks out. And I thought, yes, he kicked out. We didn't get the Ambrose heel turn that I really wanted. But fine, this is going to make Reigns, he's going to cut off Sheamus pinned him. Oh. And the guy who earlier lost to Ryback, who was in a match that was unannounced, was abandoned by his team, and said, let's get jiggy with it, is our heavyweight champion, is the man, is the guy that is leading this flagship.
The guy that everyone wants to see.
Fuck off.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that is, I went to bed gutted, and I probably laid there for about 45 minutes, thinking of all the different scenarios I'd like to have seen. I did not sleep well. And then Raw.
I think Sheamus winning the title was always meant to happen.
Really?
I don't think it happened because of Seth Rollins' injury. Because let's rewind. So if it was a feud between Reigns and Seth Rollins, they have a battle. Reigns gets the advantage, manages to beat Seth Rollins, and then he's standing there. Triple H comes out, and then Sheamus beats him, pins him, and then you've got Sheamus as a champion. You've got someone, because let's be honest, Seth Rollins is going to get cheered with the smart marks over Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Sheamus ain't. So now you've got Reigns going against a guy that's not going to get cheered by the smart marks as we're getting into smart mark part of the year.
Yep.
You've also then got a reason for Seth and Triple H to have a rift between them. Because Triple H's got a new guy.
Yep.
So that would have them starting to clash going into WrestleMania.
Which I think they were going to build towards. Yeah.
So I think that was the plan all along. That's why I don't think there was much change or much panic from WWE, because I don't think Seth's injury affected their plans.
No. apart from Triple H's match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't want it.
Nobody wants it, and they've done an awful job. They should have been, over the last few months, building Sheamus up. Like, you could have had him switch. When he first came in, he just destroyed people. You could have just had, like, something happen to him, and he just, like, snapped and became brutal. Like, do the best you can do with this guy. I know it makes it more obvious that he's going to get the title, but, well, he got the title anyway, and now he's a joke.
So can you see him holding this through to Mania?
The way I see it going, I can see him holding it until Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble.
Because I think keeping Roman Reigns out of the Royal Rumble is the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
So you have him and Sheamus back and forth until the Rumble, so that's just TLC Rumble. And then Reigns wins it there, and then you can have a WrestleMania program.
Yeah, with whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonder who... Well, that's it. We'll get into that at some other point, but yeah.
So yeah, I think that was the plan all along.
Yeah. For
Sheamus to cash in. So that's why I don't think WWE made drastic changes, because I don't think Seth's injury really affected their plans.
Yeah. We were both pretty deflated last night, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Like, I'm not saying it was a great choice, but I'm saying after thinking about it, it makes a bit more sense, but I'm not happy with a shitty Sheamus champ.
No, don't like him. Never liked him. Not one bit of me likes him. So yeah, and then obviously we go into Raw, and I'm not going to lie, I was quite tired anyway, which didn't help, but I fell asleep several times throughout Raw, and I kind of had to go back and forth and
okay, let's cut this into bits. What was good about Raw?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it, dude. I going into it, I knew I wasn't going to like it.
Yeah.
I was grasping at straws.
Yeah.
Like, you've got Sheamus as the champion. Obviously, Reigns is going to go for his rematch because he's lost the belt. So that we knew was coming.
Mm-hmm.
The Authority kissing Sheamus' ass, him kissing their ass.
Yeah.
What's different?
Okay. My very, very grasp at straws positives were they actually gave Kalisto a microphone. He didn't do very well with it. But, like...
That was a bit random.
That was, but it's the fact, like, and then also Jimmy Uso as well. Okay, this segment was like my highlight, was the New Day's musical jamboree, coming out, riding hobby horse unicorns. New Day are just the best thing on there. Did you notice the line that Kofi said, where he said, "This isn't my character saying I hate country music. I genuinely hate country music."
Oh God, I can't. Yeah.
And I think again, it's like New Day are the only team that can get away with that.
Yeah.
They are this generation's Edge and Christian.
They are. There's
and I love them for
Edge and Christian to them.
And then I was happy the fact that the Usos and Lucha Dragons didn't do great on the mic, but they actually got mic time. Titus O'Neil got a backstage thing with Stardust. Again, it wasn't great, but it was actually other people having a backstage thing. So my brief shining thing is they've actually given Heath Slater. He was on the show and he had the promo.
Yeah.
They've actually started. They're like, okay, maybe we need to give people some mic time.
Yeah.
Maybe these non-authority people and storyline people can actually have mic time.
Yeah.
So that is my slight. It's a change that should have happened ages ago, but they've started doing that.
Well, yeah, because if you want to build character, you've got to give them a mic.
Now, let's do a much longer segment of the negatives of Raw.
What did you think of the Paige and Charlotte thing?
I thought, well, the situation was really weird. Like, I don't remember a situation of someone in a backstage area talking into a camera.
Yeah.
Talking to the commentators back and forth. I don't remember that ever happening. That's a very odd situation to be in.
Like,
how was Paige hearing Michael Cole? Did she have her own TV monitor or something there?
I don't know. She was talking to the camera.
Yeah, that was weird. That was just a weird thing. It was a bit different. Fine. Like, most people would, like, come out to the ring and then point to the Titatron. Yeah. This is what happened. But no, I don't know. I don't know why that happened. Maybe Paige wasn't even there. Maybe they needed to shoot a segment and she had to go off.
Yeah.
Because actually, believe it was one of her brother's birthdays I saw on her Instagram, because I follow her on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do.
I will not blame you. So, yeah, we had that.
Yeah. But wait, that makes no sense because Charlotte, they had a match on Raw. So that theory doesn't work.
I gotta go to this thing.
No, it was actually someone in a page wig that wrestled Charlotte on the show.
Very similar.
Yeah, so anyway. Yeah, it was odd.
Yeah, it was weird. Didn't really... So I don't know how much longer this feud's going to go on for.
At least a month. And yeah, they had a rematch, which again was a good match, but nobody cares because they've been deflated by this.
Yeah.
And then the diva that people have been chanting, we want Sasha for ages, got a sort of 7-minute match against Becky Lynch that she couldn't win by herself, and the crowd seemed to almost have given up on chanting we want Sasha chants because you've just kept her away for so long, people have stopped caring. And that's the Divas division.
And then we also had the Ambrose.
Oh my god! All 4 of the guys I really like.
Yeah.
Ziggler, Ambrose, Kevin, and Breeze. Ziggler?
Ziggler?
Ziggler, Breeze, Ambrose, Owens.
Yeah.
Why were they in just one match?
Yeah.
Just one match. Why were they not... First of all, you've got an Owens feud with Ambrose. You've got a Tyler feud with Ziggler.
Yeah.
Why were they not separate segments on the show? Why did they not have storyline going into them? Having, like, Owens sort of go backstage, mock Ambrose for losing, and then Ambrose going, well, I beat you. And then, bam, 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 you've got an easy feud there.
Yeah.
Ziggler, Tyler Breeze. Again, you've got... Breeze should be bigging up. I've got my, like, first victory on a pay-per-view. I am undefeated on a pay-per-view. And then that just builds into... That could have been, like, 2 15-minute segments there with them, and then, like, having some sort of match or some sort of exchange.
Yeah, nothing.
But no, we shoved them in a 10-minute match. It's like 4 of your best workers.
Yeah.
And mic skill people.
I just don't think they've got anything creative-wise for them. And a pay-per-view used to spawn a storyline into Raw, like Ricky said, Ambrose and Owens easily could have gone into a feud there. But they just don't have any ideas. So they just got them all out the way in one go. Literally probably the best wrestlers in the company. Cesaro aside. And you stick them all out there in one go. But what? It's annoying. And again, one of the big reasons I didn't like Raw is just there's nothing going on. Talking
off, just getting thrown out there. If you asked me a year ago, this time last year, like, oh my god, what would be a fantastic match what would be like a dream match I'd like to see? Well, I think the Wyatts have been doing fantastic tag matches. I think, like, they could have a really good feud with the Dudleys if the Dudleys returned. And that was, like, the opening match of Raw. They had a match, and then the Wyatts destroyed them.
I know.
Like, this is something you could advertise. You could say, next week on the show, you have the first ever meeting between the Dudley boys and the Wyatt family. Like, you could build this into a feud.
I know.
Remember, like, the matches that the Wyatts had with the Shield. The matches that Luke Harper and Eric Rowan had with the Usos. They had a fantastic run of matches. And you just, I don't know, we've got to let Bray destroy someone because he lost. And the Dudleys are your pre-show numpties.
Yeah.
Let's just give them.
And at a time where we're coming up to TLC, which is tag team territory, really. You know?
Can you tell me who were one of the teams involved in the TLC?
Oh, the most infamous matches of all
the
time.
The first 3 TLCs.
That team that got chucked on the pre-show the other day.
What out of those teams, like, who's still in the company? Who's actually still able to wrestle? What part of that nostalgia for TLC could we grab onto?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame kind of stuff. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah. So that's what's going on with the tag team division again. Absolutely nothing.
Like, even if you had Wyatt's, Dudley's, Uso, New Day in a TLC match, that'd be like a huge thing. No, so the Wyatts are just going to destroy people until they can figure out someone for them to go.
Is it me, dude? Or did WWE just not like their fans?
I don't know what it is. Like, I would really like to talk to a WWE writer and see if any of their ideas actually make it on the show. Or, like, on the day of the show, does Vince go, we need more Big Show! We need a big, god damn it! Who the hell are these? Get the blue version of Nation Domination. They're alright, they can do their thing. And just like, I don't know, I think he just rips it up and then writes it himself in 5 seconds.
But we make it easy for him. We tell him what we want.
Yeah.
And he does the opposite.
I know.
He goes and puts Sheamus as the heavyweight champion. And we're cheering for Ambrose and Owens. What? You don't do that to someone that you like and care about, your fan base, which is what keeps the company together. You don't. Without making it seem to me, anyway, that you just don't like them.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was a fine wrestler. I do not see the company, like, brought him in and, like, my God, we're going to send this guy to the moon. We're going to make the fans want him and make... No, he just did his thing. He started catching on fire.
Yep.
The company started giving him a little bit more, and he got over.
Yep.
The Rock, they tried pushing him down the throats. Die, Rocky, die. They let him go do his own thing, and he was a heel. And then, like, the crowd's starting to cheer and give him a bit more. And he turned into The Rock.
The Rock.
The, like, highest paid man on the planet.
And how Austin and Rock done that? They had microphones in their hand. They actually got to talk and be themselves. This is his biggest problem. They don't, like... This is good that Kalisto and everyone got microphones the other day. This is what they need to do. They need to build character. But this is exactly the point. You can't build stars without microphones in their hands.
No.
They've got to be themselves. So, we're literally telling these people what we want, and they're not listening.
Because, like, now when I see Ziggler in a title tournament, I like, yeah, he's not going to win.
Right.
I like you, Ziggy Boy, but I can't keep cheering for you.
Did you hear someone asked him on Twitter how long he's wrestling for, and he said 2 more years, that's it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So, obviously he re-signed and everything, so
yeah.
Whether he was actually promised anything in the next 2 years, I hope so.
Or it'll give him enough money that he's then comfortable for the rest of his life. He's worked hard and he can then just go focus on his comedy. Where I can bet if you get cheered in comedy, you'll get booked more. That's like... Yeah.
No, I like hearing about, like, legends' opinions on Raw. I listen to, like, Austin's podcasts. I read a lot of, like, Mick Foley's posts. And I just want to, like, to put my point across here. Like... Mick Foley, I follow him on Facebook, and he put this article up that says, "Getting Close." And he said, I'm going to quote an article from July 2014 called The Sad Case of Zack Ryder, in which I wrote, eventually people get tired of finding out that the WWE superstars they have supported with their cheers, their signs, their purchases, their follows, and their likes aren't real superstars. And little by little, those fans lose interest in WWE, find other interests and become former WWE fans. And he goes on to say, I am one of those people on the verge of becoming a former WWE fan. I'm tired of being told through Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views that WWE superstars that I rooted for, from the likes of Ziggler, Cesaro, Owens, aren't top stars. No matter how strongly crowd reaction seems to disagree, which is what I'm saying, we're telling them who we like and they're not listening to it. I'm tired of NXT stars getting their big break in WWE just to be treated like jokes on the main roster. 6 months ago, my son and I travelled 12 hours from Eastern Tennessee to Orlando to watch Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch wrestle at NXT TakeOver in what I consider one of the greatest Divas matches of all time. Last night, in what I believe was their first singles match on Raw since Sasha and Becky were given 4 minutes on Raw. 4 minutes. At a time when WWE desperately needs to make new stars, when they need to give wrestlers with talent the opportunity to break through, e.g. microphones and things like that, and show they actually have character, let them be themselves, they gave Sasha and Becky 4 minutes. Mick Foley goes on to say that he turned the channel and watched a pretty good football game instead, which is what a lot of people seem to be doing on Monday nights now as well, seeing as it dropped to below 3 million views on Monday Night Raw. I think I can get used to watching football games on Monday Night Raw from here on out. I'll be watching Raw this coming Monday, maybe just to see what happens. As often the case is in relationships, they will give me just enough to remind me why I love wrestling. Just enough to keep me coming back. Maybe they would even give Sasha and Becky a rematch and more time. And a legitimate chance to show the world what they can do. So, this is what I love about Mick Foley, because he's still got ties with the company, he's a Hall of Famer, but he is the voice of the voiceless. Although we're sitting here doing this podcast, WWE may not ever hear this, but at least Mick Foley is saying things like that.
Yeah, and it's the sad truth. Like, I'm watching wrestling more out of habit now. That, like, I feel if I just like give up on it now, like I've got the guys I love in NXT that is like watching NXT every week is what sort of keeps me into wrestling at the moment. If it was just the main roster, I would I don't know, I'd really think about packing it in.
If it wasn't for you and me watching it together and sharing this experience together, if I was watching it alone, I'd have been done.
Yeah.
The moment Sheamus won that belt. I get close to stopping, but it's only because you and me watch it together and share these podcasts and experiences and conversations with you guys that I'm still watching.
Yeah.
Because it's an outlet as well, these podcasts. And I hope that for you guys listening now, if you want to put anything in the comments, do it. Because we will read them out, whatever. Just get involved. Because Raw was awful. And if this is what we got going into the end of the year and beginning of next year, I'm really worried. This Friday at 9 AM, the tickets go on sale for Raw that we're going to be going to next year. And I want to go. It's the day out that I enjoy more than Raw. But I'm going to go. But I'm so worried about the Raw we're going to get.
Yeah. Well, the Raw that Manchester got wasn't great. They got Undertaker and Kane, but apart from that, they just got a load of matches and no story.
Yeah.
The first ever one we went to, we were the luckiest. We got, like, stars and stuff happened. Like, this year, the one we went was not great.
No, it wasn't. As I say, it was the day out I enjoyed more, but the Raw itself was garbage.
No.
I mean, if you really think about it, like, over a month, say 4 Raws, how many do you really enjoy?
Well, I don't know. There's been a fair amount 2, 3, 4 months ago that I can't say that there's many that have been like, oh, that's goddamn fantastic. But there's always been like enough that I've been like, yeah, like I've loved the Cena Invitationals. As I say, this evolution of the New Day has just like really piqued my interest. Then you'd usually have like at least a Cesaro match. But yeah, like just these last few months, they've just like, I think it's like they've almost gone, oh, let's not do anything into Royal Rumble.
No.
You know what? You just here's a random number generator. You two are in for another one, 10-minute match. You two have got a 20-minute match. You're going to have 1 second with Renee in the back on a promo, and we're going to tell you exactly what to say. Read out this word exactly.
I think they're so busy with all the other projects that are going on in the company. The actual shows themselves, like Raw and SmackDown, especially SmackDown, are on the back burner. I think they've got other priorities, and they just don't. They haven't got any competition for one. They're still, although their ratings and viewership is going down, they're still like number 2, number 3 on cable. So they don't really care, because they're still in the top 3. All they're really focusing on is like the network, the programs they're making for that, Be a Star, their movies.
Like Breaking Ground, Table for Free, the network stuff I've enjoyed.
It's getting better.
It is. Like, from when it started, it was a bit like, but now there's always something. There is like at least 2 to 3 times a week I'll sit down and go through a chunk of stuff on the network. Yeah.
And it's crazy that I enjoy that stuff that's really the outside world of WWE, to what the centre of it all is, and which is Raw and pay-per-views. How crazy is that? Raw and pay-per-view should be the real. Oh, this is why I'm here. Like I enjoy Table for Free and Breaking Ground so much more than I have done, weekly shows recently.
This has been a deflating period. Anything else to say about Raw?
Oh, dude, I think the fact that I fell asleep
just says
really says it all, and I just really feel deflated. But to be honest, I feel kind of better that I've got to vent here with you guys today.
I'm going to tell you the thing on Raw that made me the most angry. And I don't know, because I have a little bit of inside knowledge of wrestling, because I've done wrestling. Adrian Neville versus Mark Henry.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, it's a match Neville won. But it's how. Just the fact you've got, like, they did this weird thing like, Mark Henry really likes Neville. I was like, okay, good. They're going to have a nice friendly competition.
Yeah.
No, Mark Henry's going to throw him and then like, oh no, I've hurt the poor little child, I'd better help him on it. You're in a goddamn match together. I don't care if you like the person. Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose, they're best buddies. You didn't see, like, Roman Reigns like, I'm going to pick you up, Dean Ambrose. Sorry, we're in a competitive match, but sorry. That's the most sickening thing to ever see, that a wrestler should have so much pity for their opponent, they pick them up. And then the fact that he finally got some offense in, he kicked him in the head, hit the red arrow. What did Mark Henry do? The thing I hate the goddamn most, he kicked out on 3. Oh, it's such a pathetic thing to do. I expect better of Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Like, he like, kicking out on 3, I can understand for, like, Brock Lesnar is fighting someone and they've managed to get a quick roll-up. You've managed to get a high-level star, like, a couple of years ago, Kofi Kingston beat Randy Orton with, like, a SOS out of nowhere. And, like, Orton was up and about. Like, you don't kick out on 3 on, like, a move like the Red Arrow, which is, like, meant to be a devastating finish. And then Mark Henry kicks out on 3.
Weakening it.
And let's be honest, you could understand this if we were, like, 10 years ago and Mark Henry was in his prime and he was a monster. Mark Henry now is a joke.
Yeah.
Who hasn't beaten Mark Henry?
Who likes Mark Henry?
Exactly, that too.
Yeah.
Apart from Texans.
Yeah.
But, like, he isn't a monster anymore. He's just an old relic of the past that's not won any matches ever. But, it's like, and it's the way they played it off as like, he really respects Neville. If you respect Neville, he wouldn't have done anything like that to him.
No.
That was just like, I don't even know why they did that. Just
stupid.
It's like a slap in the face. Now we're gonna give you this victory, but we're gonna you could just sort of win a squeak out victory yourself, or boo boo.
Yeah.
Like, and it's sad because he did this sort of match. He did on NXT. He had this good rivalry with Brodus Clay before he departed. Not this world, just the company. But no, it was the small man versus big man. Fine, there's traditional stuff you do with that. Of course it's power versus speed. But you don't have to just make Neville look like such a pathetic thing that his opponent helps him up and is like, oh man, they did that with Daniel Bryan in the Big Show. Yeah. Like, they put Daniel... the authority of forcing me to go in a match against you, Daniel Bryan. Oh, don't make me punch you and hurt you. It's like, this makes the person look so pathetic. Weak.
Yeah.
Oh, it just makes me angry. And then, this big, strong guy that Neville overcame. What did he do later in the show?
I actually can't remember. I may have fallen asleep.
He dreamt of a Tex-Mex burger with JBL and... This is the powerful guy that Neville has overcome.
That's what I was going to say.
The guy that does the cheap plug advertising.
Yeah.
Oh, just disgusting.
What have you become?
Yeah. I think we could talk hours and hours and hours about what was bad about Raw.
All of our pet peeves.
I think we should end that there. Where do we go from here? What do we need to do?
Well, they've already laid out. Obviously, Sheamus and Reigns are going to be in the TLC match for the belt at TLC.
Thank God it's a TLC match. At least being a gimmicked match, it can be a bit exciting. Because if they were just going for a straight up single match between Reigns and Sheamus,
I know.
But I hope they just plan balls to the wall, spots, tables, ladders.
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah.
It's the last pay-per-view of the year. I'm really hoping the rest of the card is enough to get me excited about this pay-per-view.
Because what? So we know where the title picture is going. We know that Jack Swagger is going to fight Alberto.
Yep.
We know that the Lucha Dragons and the Usos are going to get involved with the New Day, so that might be a free team match in some way, probably either a ladder match or a table match. I can't think of anything else that was set up. Paige versus Charlotte rematch.
Oh, dude, it's quite.
How can you just? Oh, we've got 3 hours. You've got an extra hour to what they used to have, and how do they just do so little with that extra time?
Yeah, they don't know what to do with it, and it's what's killing them.
It's well, why don't we have other directions? Why are we come out of a show and we don't know where we're going to the next pay-per-view? I assume there's going to be some sort of Ambrose, Owens, Ziggler, Breeze feuds, but again, we don't know that. They sort of had a tag match together that meant nothing.
Yeah. I don't know where we go from here. I just haven't got a good feeling about it.
No.
So we're going to get this shitty, probably TLC pay-per-view out of the way, and then we've got, obviously, the end of the year Slammy Awards.
Yeah.
No
At
big
least
stars
Slammy
stand
is
out
always
for
an
me.
entertaining show.
It's always entertaining.
A nice breakup.
Always entertaining. But, and then obviously, thank God, we've got a big pay-per-view coming up.
How long have we got until TLC?
I'd say about 3 weeks.
Is it a 3-week one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're obviously Christmas and everything, so I think they get it out of the way early.
Yeah.
And then, finally in the exciting part of the year.
Yeah. And, then we've got Rumble. And, it's just getting through this year. From the Rumble point, I can see things picking up because, well, goddamn if they don't.
Yeah.
But it's WrestleMania season. It's the best 3 months of the year.
Yeah. All the smart marks come out with the better crowds. I'm really hoping for some big returns this year.
Yeah.
Because if Vince does want to put 100,000 bums in seats next year,
I can almost guarantee you Daniel Bryan will not be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Ricky's saying this the other day. So
you can't put him in there.
No.
As soon as you put Daniel Bryan in the Rumble and he doesn't win, you've got 3 years in a row of booing. They've got to make it obvious that Daniel Bryan will not be in the Rumble. Maybe they need to schedule his return. Daniel Bryan will be at No Way Out. What is
Elimination Chamber? No, that's gone.
Yeah.
It's Fastlane.
Fastlane. Yeah.
He returns at Fastlane.
Yeah, but basically, they sort of Daniel Bryan will be in the ring, and then how about we just do the thing that they want? Ziggler, Daniel Bryan, just go do what you want. Have your own match.
Yeah.
Fans will be happy. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, as I say, I'm just hoping for some big returns.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan would be great, but that's really what would get me excited again. We get some big names back, ready for Mania. Who do you want? Sorry, what were you going to say?
No. Finish your thought, and then I've got a final thing.
Who do you want to win the Rumble? I know we're a little bit early, but who do you want to win right now?
As I say, Roman Reigns should be nowhere near it.
No.
I personally hear a lot of people saying Brock Lesnar. Again, I don't think it's any good for him because I don't think with his schedule he should hold the title again.
No.
I think him himself is enough an attraction. If he's tied up with the title, that's okay, that'll be cool. But if you've got a title match and you've got a Brock Lesnar match, that makes things bigger. So I don't think Brock Lesnar. Well, heel Ambrose, Dean Ambrose. I want a Kevin Owens so bad to do it, but I can't see them pulling the trigger. So apart from a Dean Ambrose, I can't think of anyone else that should win it. Oh, or they can go safe route and John Cena. Well,
that is it. If he's going to return, I reckon it'll be at Rumble.
Yep.
And
again, that's not going to be lots of cheers for that.
No, it'll be at number 30, and then you will get boos for the third year in a row.
It's not quite the same as when he was away with injury, and then no one knew. No one had an inkling that he was going to come out. If John Cena wins the Royal Rumble, there's going to be boos.
Because it will... If they're going to do this, if they're going to put the belt on him again, it will be obviously a crowning achievement in his career, but they're going to want to do it big. And if... God forbid they do it at WrestleMania. But, oh man, I just don't know. There's no real big stars that will stand out as much as I'd love, like an Owens or an Ambrose to win it. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's sad times.
It is. Like, we were excited for, like, things could be different. They've got this opportunity to shake things up, and they didn't do it. So, I don't know. I just... Flip a coin, I would say 70% points towards Cena, 30% towards Ambrose, because they seem to be more with what's safe.
Yeah.
And no one else I can see ever deserves the title. Even the people I like, I can't see them winning it.
No, it's just too soon. Mm-hmm. Especially with the likes of Cesaro out now.
Right, final thought. This is going to be my last thing. John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. Face versus face. Good match. What happened after that match?
Cena was injured, so he had to go and get his elbow fixed.
I mean, literally after that match.
Oh, I see what you mean, because we discussed this the other day.
Yeah.
So, mirror image. Just like Reigns, Daniel Bryan wins the belt. 2 minutes later.
A lot of confetti as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, a lot of confetti. Triple H miraculously pops up.
Well, he was the special guest referee.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
So he was in the ring. He was in the ring with Daniel Bryan, and then Triple H comes and he's in the ring with Roman Reigns. What happens after that?
And then we get some sort of screw over.
We get the Money in the Bank.
We get the Money in the Bank.
Cash in. Both times.
On a person that we did not want to win that belt. Both times.
So he gets... So I think the WWE have gone...
Let's recreate.
They didn't like Daniel Bryan because of who he was and his wrestling ability and his dedication to the craft. They liked him because he got screwed over quickly. If we do the exact same thing with Roman Reigns, he'll be the next Daniel Bryan. I wouldn't be surprised if next week on Raw, Roman Reigns starts sidestepping to the ring going, Reigns! 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 Reigns!
Hey, you wanted to change a tyre. Yeah. He gets to come out red trunks and...
Yep. With his new music. Reigns! Reigns!
Grow a big beard. Oh, do you reckon Vince really is that stupid?
Well, it is the exact same storyline they did 2 years ago with Daniel Bryan.
Reigns the way we did Daniel Bryan.
But that does mean technically now he's going to fight Bray Wyatt again and get inducted into the Wyatt family.
Oh,
and he's going to lose the opening match at the Royal Rumble. Rey Mysterio is going to get booed, going to return to the company, get booed at number 30.
Again.
But no, yeah. But no, I think that they're sort of like, this is a good thing. Oh
man, I'm glad I've got you to watch it with. I wouldn't be watching it alone. I know that. From
You can be my wingman.
Oh, I'll be a wingman.
Okay, before we start rambling again, I believe it is time to wrap this up. We will see you again in about 2 weeks. I think we should aim for just before the pay-per-view to see TLC. How Raw has changed and how we're feeling going into TLC.
Because it's so exciting. We want to talk about it every week. No, yeah, we'll see you realistically in 2 weeks, just before TLC. Yeah. And obviously, in the meantime... we do have some other plans, like with a Let's Play that we might do on Ricky's channel at some point.
Yes, I'm still getting my Elgato up and running and getting my personal channel stuff still running. I haven't really started making videos again, but I've got plans. I'm just trying to get back in the swing of things there.
Because I've got 2K16, which we can do some Let's Play on. Ricky somehow got his N64 working still.
Whoop.
We played No Mercy on that. Really good fun. And plenty of other stuff we can do. So,
boom.
Yeah, a lot of plans coming up. Don't you worry.
So, until next time, like, subscribe, share, and TTFN.
Ciao for now.